Hi guys, it's me, and I'm just going to finish off by showing you a flat wash, which is a technique that we bring over from watercolor. Acrylic isn't perfect doing it, but with a little bit of practice you can kind of get this down, and it can create a really beautiful, soft, sort of even, transparent coat. It's usually used for backgrounds, and you'll see why in a second here. So I'm going to tilt this down so that you can see what's going on down here on the ground. And okay, so what I have is I have a color red that I've made a big puddle of. It doesn't really matter how much pigment you have in it. You can have more or less. That's kind of up to you. It just depends. The more you have pigment you have in there, the deeper the color will be, and the less you have, the more water it'll be, so it'll be more watery. I've got like a 1.5 inch house paint brush. I'm going to try it with this. We'll see. I haven't done one with a brush like this in a long time. But the general idea is that the bigger the brush you have, the easier this is. Actually, you know what? I should first do it. Let me first do it with a small one, show you a small area, just so you can really see the process of what's going on here. So that's what I'm doing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, I've got my canvas on a board, and I've got it taped so it will stay, and I'm tilting it up. And the tilt is your friend. You want to have the tilt, okay? So what I'm doing is I take paint from my puddle, and then I pull it across. Whoops, probably a little bit too much. I go back and I'm going to say this slowly, but go back and I get more, and I pull across again. And every time I go and get some more, I go back in, and there's a little sort of puddle at the bottom of this that is forming, and I'm going to go back in and just go over that little puddle with my next stroke. So the whole idea is that we're kind of creating a water puddle of color that is kind of seamless in the perfect world. It's not always. But I keep going in, and every time I go and get a little bit more from my puddle of color, okay? And the idea behind this is I'm sort of keeping the same amount of pigment in here at the same time. I'm going to finish this off just to show you. So when I'm done, I'm going to dry my brush off on a rag, and I'm going to come, and I'm going to come with my relatively dry brush and just grab that little bubble down there. I'm just going to, again, dry it off and just grab it. Now, do I have any paper towel? I do. So honestly, you can make friends with the drips. So part of my problem, I'll just share with you, was that I had it very watery, and I had it tilted up really high. So this first drip, when it went, once you've got a drip, the water kind of follows its own course, just like a river. So that's a little bit of what happened. I thought it would be fun, though, to tilt this over and do something with the brush, the big brush, and just show you what's the beauty of working with a big brush. So I don't know exactly how this will work, but we'll find out. So I'm going to tilt it not quite as much, because I've got a lot of water on this brush. And I'm going to start by tilting it less, because I can always lift it up. Go back and get more, less, and I can always tilt it up. The main thing that I am not going to do is I am not going to go back into the part that I've already painted and do anything with it, okay? I am just going to love whatever happens, okay? Because what happens is when you start going into it, then I'm going to go and I'm going to dry off a brush, just use that pretty dry brush and snag that puddle at the bottom. I can tell I'm going to have to do it over here again, because I still have. And because I've got a wet on wet, we're actually also going to see those two things start to mix. But what you can see here is you can see that this is a way of getting a relatively soft, flat layer of color. And it's because it's transparent, you can see it sort of has a sense of light to it, because you're sort of seeing the surface of the paper below it. So I did okay. So the challenge with this is, I probably should have gotten some to show you, but these can be really stripy. So I will show you this. If I go into this now and I decide I want to fix this, I will have just done something like that in the middle of it. So once you do it, once you go all the way down with your brush, just step away from it, okay? Just don't touch it. Just let it go, because you can see, even though this is still, now this is bleeding in or whatever, I'm probably always going to have a sense of a line there or a stripe. Yes, you can blow, see what happens. So that's kind of a soft wash. So canvas paper is not very absorbent. If you're doing this on paper, it actually might be a little bit easier because it might be a little absorbent. And this is getting a little better as I hold it. So the water can be your friend if you work on it. Okay, that's the end of this one, and then I'm going to do another video which is a gradated wash. I'll show you that in a second.